This is KGW News at noon.
A new report out on homelessness has just been released, and it gives a regional picture of the reality of homelessness. It also touches on what it would cost to end it. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich. The study is out of Portland State University. KGW's Tim Gordon is here to break it all down for us. And Tim, this study focuses on a specific area.
Yeah, it does. It looks at homelessness in the Tri-County area. That's Multnomah County, Clackamas, and Washington counties as well. And it looks at potential solutions. The study found more than 138,000 people experienced homelessness in 2017. That study included people doubled up with friends or family due to loss of housing or economic hardship. It also utilized the point-in-time numbers, which includes people living on the streets, in cars, and in shelters. PSU researchers found the cost to provide housing, support, services, and other costs at $2.6 to $4.1 billion for 10 years for all those people. That does not include the money already being spent. The study also came up with some key takeaways, recognizing first that homelessness is driven in large part by a big lack of affordable housing.
And so if we're trying to solve housing, we need to be able to come together and create a housing strategy for the region where we're actually weighing trade-offs and understanding the consequences of the choices that we're making.
The study also found that more than 107,000 people were housing insecure or at risk of homelessness in the three counties in 2017. It would take as much as $21 billion to provide rent assistance for all those people to help that group for 10 years. There's so much more to this study, the detail on it. You can find a link to it at kgw.com. Christine?
Okay, thank you, Tim. This noon, we're waiting for an update on the search for a swimmer who went missing near Rooster Rock. Search crews are back out on the Columbia River today. That's what is expected. Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies say the man was swimming with a friend off Sand Island last night. They think he may have drowned. Search crews combed the water yesterday evening. We'll, of course, keep an eye on this story and bring you the latest when we get it. Meantime, we've also learned about a drowning at Crater Lake on Sunday. Park officials there say a 27-year-old man jumped off a rock at Cliffwood Cove and didn't resurface. Divers recovered his body yesterday, 90 feet below the surface on a rock ledge. Park staff say thousands of visitors jump into the lake from that part of Cliffwood Trail every year, and they even call it the Jumping Rock. They say at this point they're unaware of any previous drownings in that area. We have an update now on a scam that nearly caused Portland Public Schools to lose $2.9 million. This morning, PPS announced it has recovered all of that money. So here's what happened. PPS says nearly $3 million was transferred to a fraudulent account that was disguised as the account of a PPS construction contractor. The bank was able to freeze that transfer. While exactly how this happened remains under investigation, a cybersecurity expert says cases like this often start with something called a phishing email to someone in the company or organization.
The person gets the email and then clicks on it and enters their password. And from that moment on, the scammers have total control of their email account. And what they do is they will create fake invoices from that email account, often from outside companies. This is a very, very successful scam. It is very rampant.
Portland Public Schools has put 2 employees on paid administrative leave, but it says those employees did not commit any crimes. Instead, it appears the fraud actually came from outside sources. Washington will soon have a brand new tool to fight fires across the state. It just got the green light to restore a Vietnam War era Army helicopter. This was built back in 1970. Washington already has 9 other helicopters just like this one to help battle wildfires. The Army gave those aircrafts away for free, but then the state struggled until now to get funding for the 10th one. The Department of Natural Resources is using $1.1 million from the state's budget to make upgrades. It's a much more affordable option because a brand new helicopter would have cost more than $13 million.
We are trying to do the best that we have with limited resources to make the most so that we have the kinds of resources that we need for initial attack and keep our fires small.
The new helicopter will be ready to use by next summer. And we are taking you outside for a quick look at this beautiful shot from our Timberline Skycam. Blue skies, of course, Hood, always gorgeous to look at. Chris McGinnis now in for Rod Hill. Chris, we're seeing sunshine today. It's nice out, but maybe some rain tomorrow.
Not maybe, I think definitely, and it's a thing to be able to say that in August. Sit here today and say, yes, we are going to see rain, but more on that coming up in a bit. That's tomorrow. For today, we are beautiful. We are watching the clouds build in a little bit at the Oregon coast. That's a live picture from Cannon Beach. We'll switch gears, take you out into the gorge where we have a light west breeze blowing out towards the Dalles for a change this afternoon. It's bright and sunny there. And we have a mix of cloud cover, broken cloud cover, and some sun breaks over the valley right now. This is a shot from the Reserve Golf Course and Vineyard. Nice day to be out on the links, bright sunshine in a lot of places, and a warmer afternoon on tap for us than we've been even the last couple of days. That trend continues today. We're 76 in Vancouver, 75 Battleground, Tigard already at 78. And as we go south of the Willamette Valley, Albany right now sitting at 78 degrees at lunchtime. I'm not sure about that Canberra thermometer, but 83. Maybe a little suspect there, but we are on our way to highs in the 80s this afternoon. In fact, we're going for about 84, 85 here in the metro area under a partly cloudy sky. The clouds will start to filter out some of that sunshine late this afternoon, and that's a precursor of what's coming our way tomorrow. Christine, that is rain. We talked about that just a little bit ago, and we'll walk you through that hour by hour with what we expect coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Chris. A new federal lawsuit could create a protection zone for endangered orcas right here in the Pacific Northwest. The Center for Biological Diversity and the Orca Relief Citizens Alliance is suing NOAA Fisheries in Seattle. The lawsuit claims the government agency hasn't done anything about a petition that was filed back in 2016 that was aimed at keeping boats out of an area near San Juan Island. That's where a lot of orcas typically feed. Orca advocates say noise from boats interfere with orcas' ability to hunt for food. NOAA has not commented on the lawsuit. And in southern Oregon, farmers there say they're facing a big shortage of workers, and that is causing some fears for the next harvest season. Gary Hubler owns Hubler Orchards in Medford. He says finding people who are trained to plant trees, prune them, and pick fruit is nearly impossible these days. Hubler says two factors could be to blame. He says much of the workforce is aging out, but he says the biggest problem, local farms are having to compete with a growing hemp industry. Teresa Hunter owns Sugar Plum Acres, that's also in southern Oregon. She says her business has had to look elsewhere to get help.
We've had to thin a couple of different times just using family members, which is fine. That's what we're here for. But that was certainly a challenge. We did have some losses in the trees and it was just too heavy, and then the pruning wasn't done quite the way the old crew would have necessarily done it.
Farmers say there needs to be more support from the community beyond just buying their product. The community of Cresswell, just outside of Eugene, is showing their support for one man who needs help. Doug Bell recently had part of his leg amputated due to an infection. He hasn't been able to walk because he can't afford to buy a prosthetic leg. So his 9-year-old daughter right there, her name's Summer, organized a car wash last weekend where the community raised $4,500 to help Doug buy a prosthetic leg. One man even dropped off a check for $2,000.
Feeling good because we've gotten a lot of money so far, and I think we might reach enough money for my dad's leg.
What an inspiring little girl. Thanks to help from the community, Summer's dad hopes to be able to walk again within the next few months.